Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial on the earthengine apps, and we'll be reviewing the existing earthengine apps, and also I'll show you how you can get started with your first app and create your first app and then deploy it on the earthengine API, just a demo, and that's pretty exciting, right? So what is the earthengine app? So the first thing is, I'm assuming that you already know earthengine. If not, so earthengine or Google earthengine is the a cloud platform owned or hosted by Google, which is thousands of computer behind the scene, and Google is hosting that, and so you have access to analyze and B access thousands of data sets, actually petabytes of data sets on the cloud. And that's a powerful cloud computing environment, and Google provides that in kind, free of charge for research and educational purpose. And the advantage to that is just to analyze large volume of Earth observation data. And so if you're familiar to Google Earth Engine, you already know that you can do analysis on Google Earth Engine, and you can visualize and analyze your data, big Earth observation data. But today's topic is actually in addition to the existing analytic capability of earthengine, you can actually build your own web application on the earthengine platform, which is called the earthengine apps, right? And these are some example applications that users or developers like you have created for public use. And the beauty of the earthengine apps is that once you create the app or just deploy the app on the earthengine servers, you can actually share it with anyone, users or collaborators or clients, and you can just simply by developing that app. And for example, here this is a code editor, an API that you can write your JavaScript code here, and just if you're comfortable with that, and you can simply click these apps, and that's what actually you need. You just within a minute you can literally publish your geospatial visualization or analytic web app and share it to the public, to the world. And that's the advantage to that is it's interactive, and so it's interactive, and B, users or people who would like to access those apps do not necessarily have to be an earthengine account holders. So anyone any public user or anyone can access these apps. So that's pretty neat, right? And so before we just get started with our first app development, let's just review actually the current existing earthengine apps. And then before that, let's just look at the earthengine apps. So if you go to earthengine apps, and you have some documentation, right? Build your own app. So earthengine apps can take advantage of the most of the same functions used in the code editor. That means if you're an existing earthengine user, you have already those functionalities. The only addition is that you can actually publish that, and thanks to Google, you can host your app on Google server and then share to the world. And that's pretty neat. As I mentioned, you can just click these apps in the code editor. Where's that? Here, in the code editor here. By just clicking that app, once you write your geospatial analysis code you can share to the world. And publishing actually takes like less than a minute, right? I'll show you in a bit. So before that, let's look at some of the existing web apps or Earth Engine apps. These are not like literally regular web apps. These are apps that use large big data, mainly big Earth observation data, and that require large volume of data set, as well as high computing power. But thanks to Google, we can host this. We can use Google servers to deploy these apps. That's that's amazing, right? So let's just look at. So some of these apps are developed by Earth Engine users, current existing Earth Engine users. Let's review these apps. So for example, this is the first app, Ocean Time Series Investigator. This is a public app. It's already published, so it's a public app. You have this Google Earth Engine app slash view, and that's the name of the app. Okay, so this is a Moody's Ocean Temperature Time Series. What it does is, if you zoom out, actually, it will show. This is technically ocean temperature, probably generated from the Moody's ocean surface temperature, right? So what it does is, so this app provides on the left side here, it will provide some information. Once you click some location, it will actually generate. You can see it's generating. It generates a time series chart and also provides you a legend to that area. So that's pretty neat, right? If you are someone who's interested on ocean surface temperature for your research or any application, you just like click here, for example, in the Indian Ocean, this location here, and I click that, and I can see for this location actually provides me the lat long information automatically, and so it will generate a time series plot for that specific location, and that's pretty neat, right? So this is one example of some of the current existing Earth Engine apps, right? And let's look at another one here. This is actually one of my favorites. Let's just open it in a different window here. And so this is a Sentinel-2 satellite image visualization. This is an example for 2018. So you have four split windows, right? The first one is here, a natural color composite, and the other one is the top right is a color infrared, actually a band combination for false color composite. And the other one is as well, so these are different false color composites. The RGB is in different band combination, whereas the natural color composite is just red, green, blue, whereas the others are different combination of bands to show to emphasize some different land cover features, right? So this is pretty neat. The advantage to this is you can zoom out. Actually, if you zoom out to one of the maps, it will actually do that automatically to the other maps. That's pretty neat, right? And you can actually look at any place on the planet. That's the beauty of analyzing this global planetary scale data set with this cloud environment. You can zoom in here. It's just Europe. And actually I can zoom out and then change the study region. For example, zoom in here to Cairo, some of the Nile Delta areas here, for example. I can zoom in here. If I zoom in one map, it will actually load all the different color combination on the other split windows. That's pretty neat. So this is another example of the the Earth Engine web application that's currently existing in the current featured apps, right? Let's look at another one. Actually, this one is a split panel. You have here, so you can choose. You have two different windows, right? Like the right side and the left side, and so you have different temporal windows. You can choose, like here, this is 2018, but different months, right? This is September, August, July, and two different July dates right here, 07, 2018, 07. And on the left side as well, you have the same. So we need to select, exactly the same temporal period to compare the two images. For example, I choose here 2018 September 15, and then I'll choose the same on the right side, September 15. So what you can do is just drag moving the split panel from right to left, left to right, to just compare the image, right? But I mean, this is a nice one, but the limitation to this is I don't like the color composition here. The previous map you've seen, this is pretty neat, right? You can look at the image fairly clearly, but here the color composite is not the best. So it's really hard to differentiate, the different land cover classes. So, I will not rate this one of the best apps, but it's just good to show, that split panel application. Otherwise, this can be done, better. Okay. All right. So let's look at another example from the earthengine, apps. Okay, this one is Mosaic Editor. Okay, so what it does is, let's just zoom out here. Let's just click some Dallas, Texas area. So you have some description about this app, right? It's interesting. So this app allows you to interactively explore the effects of mosaicing different lands at a top of atmospheric image, TOA. That's that's the short name for top of atmospheric reflectance, using EE reducer median to change which tiles are included in the mosaic, check or uncheck the thumbnails, right? So here, for example, if you click here, it'll automatically generate different mosaics. If you just zoom in and zoom out here, so it'll show you the different satellite scenes that are used in the mosaic. And this is just, this is good, interesting, but not an advanced, earthengine app, I would say. All right, I think another interesting one, I like this one. I think this is pretty neat. What it does is that, so this is a global population explorer, right? So they pull the existing earthengine data, that's global population density data, as you can see here on the legend. So thousands of people per square kilometer, right? So this is population density, global population density. But the good thing about this app is that once you click, so on the background you can see, every country administrative boundary for every country, right? And so this is an overlay of A, population density, B, there's also an administrative boundary for any country in the world. So if you click to, multiple countries, for example, here, a couple of countries in Africa, it will actually help you to compare, population density among these countries. For example, here, I'll select a country here. So it's generating that. So it's selecting Niger here, as you can see here, it's selected one country. It has the population estimate and another adjacent country here. Chad, you can see here, it's pretty neat, right? And then I'll add another here, Sudan. So it will add Sudan here, Ethiopia. It will add them all here, and Eritrea here, and so Niger here, and also Algeria here, and let's see, Nigeria here. So we are now comparing these highlighted countries with respect to their, their population according to 2050 population estimate, right? So that's pretty neat, right? And so let's go back here. And the last app, that I'd like to review today is the Global Forest Change app, which is pretty neat. So this is a paper actually published by, Hansen and al. In Science, high-resolution global maps of 21st century forest coverage. So this is published. So it will demonstrate a global, forest coverage and some, forest change, gain and loss for about 12-year period. So they're kind of summarizing the result of this analysis, which is published in Science in this app. Let's just go back. Okay, here we go. So this is the Global Forest Change earthengine app to demonstrate the data that's published in the Science paper. So if you zoom, out here, it's just in the Amazon forest. So you have, let's just check here. So you have different parameters. The first one is percent tree cover. Let's look at that. So the percent tree cover here, as you can see, it shows percent tree cover. If it's pretty bright green, 75 to 100% tree cover. As you can see here, the Amazon forest, and some in the Congo Basin. The other areas are, dark. So pretty nice, just to visualize, the global forest cover change. And this one is a gain and loss. Actually, a loss, not a gain. So if you want to look at forest loss, a global forest loss, you can see that this is, the red areas are areas that have lost forest over the past 12 years, according to that study, right? And the other one is year of loss. So, this is like here, if it's yellow, the year of loss is in 2000, and the year of loss, if it's red color, the year of loss is 2016. So most of this red area in Canada and northern temperate, there are more recent loss in forest cover, this red areas, right? So this is pretty cool. So that's one of the the most advanced earthengine app that I have seen with respect to the current earthengine apps featured here in this website. So that's pretty exciting, right? So this is just to give you some highlights in terms of what you can do when you deploy your earthengine app. These are some of the examples that demonstrate what you can achieve when you deploy your app. So the next question is, do you want to deploy your first earthengine app? So let's get started. So I'll just show you a very simple, basic, earthengine app you can execute in the next few minutes. Okay. So the first thing is, I assume that you have earthengine account. If you don't have one, you just go to the earthengine website, earthengine.google.com, and then sign up here. So Google will approve you for educational training purpose or research purpose. So you'll be granted access most likely in the next 24 hours. And once you have access, you just go to code editor here, platform and code editor. And if you're an existing earthengine user, you can disregard this part since it's fairly basic. So let's just close all of this guys here, since we have already. So when we when we deploy our app, this is the app that we should have, right? So that's, you know, an app I already, you know, deployed on earthengine, but I'll just go ahead and do it again to show you a demo, right? So you have this code editor, and just let's go back to, you know, documentation here. And in that documentation, I just want to give you an example code here, so that we can do it together, right? It's loading here a little slow, and once this loads, what I'm gonna do is just I'll copy paste that simple basic code, and then you know, execute it here. Once you execute that, actually save it, and once you save it, and just, you know, simply click the apps part here and deploy your app. That's pretty much it. So you go to you know, documents here, and just you click get started here, and you just toggle down here a little bit and find this code, sample code, right? So I'll just go to node hello world. All right, here's the code that I need, right? So this sample code, just adding data to the map area, right? So I'll just go ahead and then actually the next one, since it has some color parameterization, so this one, this just bit of code, right? I can write that, but just to save your time, I'll just go ahead and simply copy this from the earthengine you know, site, and paste that here on the code editor, right? And so what it does is just it will import the Landsat satellite 8 image, and it will create some sort of color parameters here to visualize you know, the Landsat image, which is in this case band 5, band 4, band 3. So I'll use a false color composite in this case. And the last thing is actually to add the Landsat satellite image, and then give it some, you know, visualization here, and then just map it here, display it here. So before I execute that code, I'll save it here as test code, right? It's just bringing the, all right, just so I'll save it like test 1 or test 2. Test 2, that's my test code. All right, so I'll go ahead and then say I already saved that, and I'll go ahead and execute that. Okay, so when I execute, it will actually create that visualization parameter here and display that Landsat image. Okay, all right, I'll zoom out a little bit to see that. So just to make sure that where this is, so this is you know, San Francisco Bay Area in California. So I'll zoom back here and change the map background to satellite or Google Maps background. So this is our first map. Okay, so I mean, when you get advanced to earthengine app deployment, you can create some legend, you can create title, you know, you can create some information you know, details in terms of who produced it and what the app is doing and things like that, as you've seen some of the advanced apps that I've shown you already. So, but for this, you know, example, I just want to show you how you can, you know, deploy, you know, your first earthengine app within just, you know, a minute, right? So let's start. So we already executed this. So the next thing is just actually click apps. It will take you less than a minute to deploy your first earthengine app on Google server, right? And one other thing that you need is just you need a Google a cloud account. So you can go ahead and create a cloud account using Google Cloud. you can go just to cloud.google.com and then create your account. Once you create your Google Cloud account, you can simply, generate apps. I already created this app, but just let me create it again to show you how it works. So you will provide the name. App name is, in this case, maybe test 2, since I already did test 1. So this is your Google Cloud project. Once you create your Google Cloud project, it will automatically pull it here, so you don't have to do anything. Then just next, and current container of editor, just you click next. You don't do anything. For now, just keep everything as is. When I get advanced, I can add restrictions, logo, and gallery. But for me, this is just first test app. So I'll go ahead and click publish, and my app is being published. That's fantastic. So this is test 2, right? That's my app, and then I'll go ahead and click that. Mind you, it takes a little while to create that app, so I might see some error here when I do that. Actually, I need to go here, click that, and just, this is the app link, the URL, right? So let me just go ahead and click that. So so this is my app. This is public. Anyone can access this. So it will automatically generate a URL link. But the problem is, because it takes like at least about a minute to deploy that app on the earthengine servers, it might take a little time. So you have to wait at least 1 minute and then refresh the page. And after that, latency or delay, about a minute, I guess, you'll have your first earthengine app, and you can share that to anyone in the world. And you can share to users, collaborators, and whatnot. And it's free, and it's very powerful. And once it's published, it's interactive. Anyone can access it, even people who don't have access to earthengine. Here you go. So that's our app, which is already deployed. So you can access this. So you don't have like code editor or things like that, unlike where we did it. This is just a public view, so you can simply publish this Landsat data visualizer app and then share it to anyone. If you just click here, copy, and if you open a new browser, and you'll have exactly the same app. So this is your first earthengine app demo. I've shown you how you can deploy it in a fraction of a minute. So that's pretty amazing, and you can share this to anyone. And one thing to note is that as you have some limited quota, so there are so if you have some heavy analysis or things like that, or just large volume of data, or too many apps, you might reach your quota. But for some beginners testing and things like that, you can at least develop a number of a whole lot of apps that you can share to your collaborators and users and clients, whatnot. So this is powerful. So yeah, I think that's how you would deploy your first earthengine app on the Google Earthengine server. Thanks for listening.